So welcome to New Earth Podcast, Janine Savient. So delighted to have you on the show today. Thank you so much for coming on. And actually, you're the first guest from New Zealand, Aotearoa. So it's extra special because I lived in New Zealand for about a decade. So have a real strong spiritual connection with the land and the people.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for inviting me on today. And it's an honour to be the very first Kiwi girl, or even just Kiwi, that's been on this beautiful platform that you provide. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And I've always felt, I lived in New Zealand sort of early 2000s. I always felt that New Zealand was going to be leading the way into the new earth, into the new world. It was quite tangible, even then, being the first light, New Zealand.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
the connections with Lemuria and, the place. And it's really interesting because we connected through you talking about the current energies and everything. And I just felt so cool to invite you on the show today.
It felt absolutely right when I got the invitation too. And, you're right, Sarah. New Zealand will lead the way. It was about 35 years ago when I was getting many, many visions and many messages. And one of them, it was all to do with now. And one of those messages and visions was showing me New Zealand leading the way. So when the people come together as one, this was the words. When the people come together as one, New Zealand will lead the way for the rest of the world. So, and it's not by coincidence that we are the land that sees the light each day, the first. And I mean, so many of us have called New Zealand God's own country, all our lives, and the land of the long white cloud. And so New Zealand, tucked away at the very bottom of the world, separate from everybody, its nearest neighbour, Australia, but even so, separate, is a very, very special little country. And
it really is. It's really
and
beautiful.
yes,
It's a very spiritual place. The Maori people are very spiritual people, and that's
yes,
very much felt in the land as well.
absolutely. It was way back in those days that I used to sit above the earth when I meditated, and I would be sitting out in the universe looking down at the earth. And New Zealand always had this beautiful purple hue across it. And I said one day in communication, tell me what I'm seeing here with this obviously very different colour to the rest of the world. And I was told that colour shows the fineness of the veils over New Zealand. So the veils are much, much finer here.
Yes.
And so the messages, the connection, the channelings can come through far, far clearer. And in communication, it was said to me, many teachers are born in New Zealand and many are drawn to come to New Zealand because it's like the classroom of the world because of these fine veils. And then they're sent back out into the world again. So per head of population here in this little country, we have many, many of the New World teachers, right now.
Absolutely. And when you said about the, one people, it just made me kind of think of the People's Health Alliance, which I'm involved in. And this is about people coming together to create, a community of health. And in New Zealand, it has taken off more than anywhere else in the world. I think they've got more hubs because that concept of working together as a community is still very intact in New Zealand, I believe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, that's the New World way, is to form communities, come in and support each other, bring my skills, bring my products, we trade, we support. I was living in Christchurch in 2010, right through the next few years of the 12,000 earthquakes and aftershocks. And I witnessed that firsthand, Sarah,
Yes,
when
yes.
through tragedy like that, neighbours got to know each other, communities formed within communities. It's the human's natural nature to care for each other, to connect on that deep heart level. And that's been forgotten a lot. And it's been conditioned out of us over many, many, many lifetimes. But innately, it's still there. It's still a natural part of us to turn to each other and just want to help, want to support, want to show kindness.
That's beautiful. And that I know today you were sitting with what we were going to talk about today. And I know we've said we've left it wide open. We were talking before we started about how we just move into the place of trust and just see what unfolds. But I know what came through was going in and coming home, which
Yes.
is very resonant. It's very, very resonant, because what part of the conditioning is we've been conditioned to give our authority outside of ourselves.
That's right.
So that returning to our inner knowing and coming home to our true nature really deeply speaks to me, Janine.
That is the journey now for humanity. So, you know, we call it the awakening, but actually it's not awakening to the untruths of this world, to the deceit and the obvious that's out there in the global narrative. The awakening is actually coming inward, coming into ourself, coming home to our truth, coming home to the purity of our love, coming home into the awareness of who and what we are as the most incredible beings we can't even imagine at this stage, because our conditioned minds, our thinking minds aren't capable of actually realizing the deep truth of who and what we are. So it's an unfolding, it's a drop by drop, a piece by piece, an experience by experience, awareness and unfolding for us, coming back online into the magnificence and purity of who and what we are. It's such a glorious, glorious journey, and we can't rush it. It's just, we take it in our own time, in our own way. Every single one of us is different. I wrote a post on my Patreon platform about 2 months ago, and it was called 8 Billion Pathways to the Divine, because every one of us is on our own pathway, and we're all so unique, coming back into the divine heart of ourselves.
That's beautiful, Janine. I'd love to talk with you about your journey, because you're a visionary, you're an intuitive, and you're known as the Heart Lady, and I totally can understand why. or I should say I can feel why, totally feel why. Would you like to share with us a little bit about how you came onto this awakening path?
Sure. So, I mean, the journey started the moment I came into the tiny body as the baby. And right back then, my earliest memory is I was about 2 months old. And I remember waking in the night, and I was struggling, and I didn't fit. I felt like I didn't fit in my wee body. And I remember the struggle of feeling like a huge energy in this little, I thought it was the sack that my mother used to put me in, because she'd put me in these wee sacks where I couldn't get my hands out and scratch my face. So I'd sleep in like these wee sleeping bags. And but it was more than that. And then this beautiful being, I remember this beautiful being coming over my little bassinet and just touching me. And I calmed right down. It's like I fitted in. So I now know that that beautiful being was me as the adult in that moment, had come back to gently quieten me as the child down. And so all my life I've had, you could say, a foot in many camps. My knowing of reality has been multi-layered, and I have been with the most beautiful beings my entire life, and lucky enough to have a beautiful, secure, loving family as well, although I lived in a very, very different reality to the rest of my family. So, but my mother was a beautiful, loving woman, and so she was one of my main guides to physical love, to demonstrating physical love, which was beautiful. And then I had these beautiful beings that were unconditional love, and they came and went in my life every day, every day. And so I knew this world as a very false paradigm, and I understood why people just didn't fit in it. And I also had the ability to feel into people. Always, even as a tiny child, I could feel that what a lot of people were holding in them and their feelings didn't match the words that were coming out of their mouth. So it was great learning in that as well. And then I moved into my very first spiritual group at 19 years old. And I remember feeling like I'd come home, that there were people in that room that understood the world that I was in as well. So from there, you know, I just blossomed. And as a young parent, we were all young parents in this group. We had the most beautiful beings supporting us with our young families. We had like we called her the camp mother, a beautiful Irish nun that came through and spoke to us all the time. And the doctor, we called him Dr. McVeigh, the cure of pain. We had these names for these beautiful, benevolent energies that came through and talked. There were many. And then in 2011, I had a major operation. And on that operating table, I was, the body died. Everything stopped for a few minutes. They put me on a bypass machine for that time. And in that time, a higher aspect of my soul came in. And I knew it was going to happen before the operation. I was fully prepared for it all. And so this higher aspect came and emerged with the aspect already in the body. And so I went to a whole new level of, took 5 years of blending with the cellular memory in the body and making all me, the whole, every part me. And then I left the South Island, moved to the North Island, where I could be more the new me, because where I was, everybody still knew me as the old me and couldn't work out the differences. So it was just easier to pack everything up and leave and start again somewhere else. So I brought in a whole new awareness, deeper connection, level of knowing love, being love, feeling love, demonstrating, modeling love. And that's my pathway. I was my pathway is just simply supporting the inner traveler. So anybody that's ready to come on in, to find that exquisite deliciousness within themselves. I'm blessed to be able to walk with many people, to just support love, to guide them inward. So yeah, that's a wee snippet of the journey.
That's incredibly powerful, and you know, it's the journey that we're all on, really, because you know we've been conditioned with fear, and it's allowing all those layers, all that conditioning to drop away so that we can come home to love, you know, which is our true nature. It is quite a process, and it sounds like you went through that quite physically, you know, when you talked about the cellular memory, the changes. Was it quite an intense physical experience for you? Yes,
it was, because the cellular memory that the body held wasn't mine. So I could, it would come to me like a movie on the screen, and I would remember it as it came to me, or it was triggered in me by somebody or something, but there was no emotional connection to it whatsoever. So it took a little bit, especially for those that I hold very dear, that it's important that I hold very dear in my life. It took a little bit of deeper blending to bring the emotional connection back in with those ones, and to love them as equally as I did when before the higher aspect came in. So there was it was supposed to take about 5 years to blend fully, and it took about 7. So
Okay.
there was a couple of stubborn aspects within myself that just weren't blending as quickly as they should, let us say. And so there was a bit of a struggle with that. And there was also a bit of a struggle with people know who you are. They've known you all your life. They know who you are, especially very close friends and family. And when all of a sudden you're incredibly different, like overnight different, and there seems to be a distance that was never there before. One friend even said to me, you could just pack a suitcase, get on a plane and fly away, and you wouldn't give a backward glance, would you? And without even thinking, I said no. And that hurt that beautiful friend. So, but I couldn't say anything about what had gone on the operating table or the blending in the first 18 months. I was told very clearly, you must hold this completely to yourself for about 18 months. We will let you know when you can share it. So it was quite a difficult time through those years. And then, of course, moving area, moving to a place I'd never been. I didn't know anybody. There was no job or anything up there. But doing it on trust, I mean, that had its own struggles as well, you know. So, but you know, every struggle, Sarah, is absolutely worth the gifts, the gems that we find in it.
Absolutely. And as you're speaking, it feels like you were being prepared in terms of your own personal journey, because this is what we're going through as a collective. You know, we're needing to let go of all these layers. And, you know, you've been through that to such a deep degree that you can really support people in that journey, you know.
Absolutely. And it's such a pleasure and an honor and a privilege to be able to do that, because, you know, the mind, the thinking mind, not the quantum mind, but the thinking mind is what I call the software for the program here. And the program is the external reality and how it feeds our thinking mind from every direction. Every part of society is geared to feed the mind. And the mind is the beliefs, the ideas, the perceptions, the attitudes, all those pieces that we create our reality with, that we believe who we are and what we are. And actually, all those thoughts have built a structure that's held us a prisoner in a tiny little space, a tiny little reality for lifetimes, you know. So, but no longer, because we're breaking free of that now. We're dissolving all of that out of us. And as we do that, we're discovering something magnificent that's deep within us that we have always known was there, but we never knew where to find it, how to connect in with it. But we always knew that there was something more to us. And all our life, we went outside ourselves, to teachers, to workshops, to retreats, to courses, trying to find that peace. And all the time, it's just sat in there, like with a gentle smile, a little glow, just waiting for our readiness to come in and go home. So come home. So it's the journey. It's the journey.
That's so beautiful. And April has been such a powerful and transformative month. We're kind of pre-recording this a bit early before the eclipse, and it's going to be coming out after the eclipse. So we've got this kind of time delay, but let's speak to that second half of April and the energies that are happening kind of at the current time. Because I'm sure a lot of people are feeling a little bit disorientated by these strong energies, and you know, maybe a little bit kind of frazzled by it all. What would you say to people to support this process?
So the energies are getting stronger, and each time they get a little bit stronger, incrementally stronger, they are clearing out a bit more. They are bringing us a bit deeper. We are filling with them more. Actually, we are filling with the soul self. So there's more of our soul coming into our bodies, being embodied in this physical representation of or the avatar that we are here, so that the soul can experience more of itself here in a physical reality. So that is actually the energies that are coming in now, is actually us ourselves as source, as soul, coming into our physical avatar. And of course, the physical avatar is changing. April is the beginning of a new intensity, a new deepening, if you like. And of course, the deeper in we go, the further out we expand into this reality. And that's what's creating the new world. It's coming up through us, it's birthing through us and out into this reality around us. And of course, with the eclipse, even though this podcast is coming out after the eclipse, people are aware now that all around the world that eclipse gives an opportunity for a few moments when the full eclipse is right there. In the stillness moment of the full eclipse, there's an opportunity for a rapid step inward, deeper, a rapid knowing, a huge step forward in from the level of where we were just a moment ago. So right now, and here we are a few days before the eclipse as we're talking on this podcast, right now is about the passageway in and bringing ourselves more into whatever feeds us on that incredibly deep level of joy, of love, of truth, of transparency, of authenticity, of play, of kindness, of caring, like compassion, gratitude. I could just go on and on with all those pieces so anything that lifts us up is the passageway now, so that at that point of stillness, we can take a breath in, we can be genuinely in that higher vibrational feeling of ourself, which is our truth, and we will be propelled into the next level. So this is all about us doing this for ourselves. And then we can't ask somebody else. We can't call in our guides and expect them to do it for us or anything like that. This has got to be done 100% by our own belief, our own knowing, our own feeling in the moment, our own wish to be more than we've known ourselves to be. So, and then of course, after the eclipse and moving over the next few weeks, there is the energy just intensifies. So it doesn't just stop at the still point and then poof, no. So we move into this new place within us. And then we are expanded in the weeks after that. We're expanded inward, we're expanded outward. We grow upon ourselves, we grow in ourselves. We have new realizations, these new aha moments. We're seeing the world a little clearer, a little more sparkly. There'll be moments of complete unbelievable miracles that we will see, but that's simply the miracle of us emerging that we will see in moments around us. So this is April, and this sets the energy for the rest of this year. But at the same time, Sarah, we are going to see the world start to fall apart in a very big way. So we have the two side by side. The two will face each other. The light and the dark, as I just say to simplify it, face each other, and they both appear to be growing over this beginning of this year, through this year, and into 2025. And then this isn't a vision. I was in this vision as I saw this. And then there's a point where they stop, and the dark implodes on itself and falls down, drops to the ground as dust, and the light gently comes across and moves it the whole lot into its light. So this was this was the vision that I saw. So yes, we will see quite a bit play out, but who we are now and who we will be over the next few months and where we'll be in ourselves, we'll be able to observe without any deep, deep emotional meshing in with what's going on. We'll be able to say no more easily, be authentic more easily. It'll be like it touches us, but it doesn't deeply penetrate into the fearful parts that have always been in there, because the fearful parts won't be in there now. Yes, we will always have fear, because fear supports our growth. It helps us. It stretches us out of our comfort zones. But we won't have that deep, gut-wrenching fear that's played out and created us to act and speak in ways that aren't true or authentic to ourselves. So this is the beauty of what's coming up for us all, for all of us that are on the leading edge of the change here, that have made the conscious choice to be the builders, the birthers of the new world here, the new us.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us have, it's felt like in some ways waiting, but you know, I stopped doing that quite a long time ago, and realized that that was all part of the journey, that it wasn't where I was meant to be putting my attention. It's that kind of shifting of focus to what I wanted to create with, or co-create is a better word.
Yes.
Because, you know, looking for things to collapse, or, you know, what it just, it wasn't the right place to, didn't, for me at least, it didn't feel like it was the right place to be. You know, I needed to find that ground within, and start building.
Absolutely. And you know,
Yeah.
in the old world way of things, and of course we've got a foot in both camps, the new world and the old world now. And in the old world way of things, we always looked ahead and worried. We always listened to the narrative, the stories, and we worried, and we created visions of how that may look, what's coming up, that story, what it says, what's coming up. Oh my gosh, you know. So fear builds this momentum and creates exactly what we don't want. In the old world reality, of course, there's linear time. So there's the past, and we've been held to those memories, tied into those memories, and replayed them and believed that that's who we are through those memories. So same with the future. All it does is it brings concern, it brings anxiousness. So now at the new world is the knowing that there is no linear time. There never was.
Yes.
It's just part of the ideas and beliefs of the programming here. There is only now. There always has been only now. Only this moment right now where you and me are talking is all that exists in reality. And you would have heard it said before, Sarah, that right now, there is nothing to worry about. There is no concerns. There is simply being present and allowing a 360-degree view of this moment and all it holds. And that's what we're learning to do now, to be now, is present in the moment, come into the now.
And to heal all those different timelines. You know, I love what you said earlier about, you know, your baby self being consoled by your adult self, because that's what starts to, as we start to step outside of linear time, that's what starts to become available to us. You know, we can work with the ancestral lines, we can work with our future self, and it becomes a much more multi-dimensional journey, which is like you said earlier, you know, we can't really understand that with our heads. We have to kind of drop into the heart to be able to get a sense of that expansion.
Absolutely. We have to be really ready to, at a point of knowing in ourselves, to be able to have the awareness of actually what that means. So my adult self coming to my beautiful baby self actually happened in the now moment, because both parts are still fully alive. You see, it's not like the baby's grown into the adult. The baby, that version, is still beautifully alive right now in this moment. And the beautiful adult self, the adult self was a beautiful angelic adult self, is still right now in this moment fully alive. So, you know, this is the growing understanding that's happening with people, is that the future isn't formed yet, and yet it's still fully alive and functioning. The new world is already fully formed, and a lot of us have come from the new world. So the future now, we're come from there to bring this now into that now. You see, there's a lot from that world that are here now. There's a lot of beings from many worlds that are right here now in this paradigm, in this moment, that are supporting the change.
And do you feel it's a frequency that becomes available when you talk about the new world or the new earth? Do you feel it's a frequency that we kind of, as we clear those filters, you know, this frequency we can align with this new way of being that's ultimately love? Is that how you perceive it, Janine?
Yes, absolutely. So, you know, if we were to tie a lead weight around our ankles and throw ourselves off the end of a wharf, we go straight down to the bottom with that weight, and that heavy weight around our ankles, that is the prism of the thoughts and beliefs and ideas, and it's held us at the very bottom of the vibrational frequencies of who we are, deliberately held us there, because life is very small, very limited in that space. We don't know life as a multi-layered, multi-leveled reality. We don't know ourselves as multi-dimensional beings. We're just simply a physical 3D being down there. So what's happening now is the shackles on the ankles are dissolving. So we're starting to rise. So bit by bit, as we rise up to the surface, we expand more, we deepen more, we see more, we understand more. Our awareness is more acute. And then when we bob to the surface and our heads come out of the water, we break free into the sunlight, into the beauty of reality. And the sunlight is our own inner sun. So within us there, you know, we've heard people say, oh, there's a beautiful flame, there's a flicker of light. So we have an internal sun. And my beautiful team in communication said to me, anytime you look at the sun in your sky, dear one, know that it is a reflection of your inner sun. It is not the fiery ball of light and warmth that we've been led to believe as part of this reality. It is the reflection of your inner sun, of your own light, of your own warmth.
Yeah.
And in this eclipse that's happening, we're not to go out and watch the eclipse happening with the physical sun, because that is a deliberate distraction away from where the change is actually going to happen. We are to bring ourselves fully inward, be with our breath, come down into the central sun, the eternal sun of the universe and ourself, which is all one. Come down into that, because that's where this power is.
That's incredible. Thank you for that guidance, Janine. And you know, it will be interesting to see where we are by the end of April. So I feel like we're going to be in a different world in so many ways. You know, it feels like a real turning point.
Yes, absolutely. And then by the end of the year, you know, for some, they won't recognize themselves, and which is a very good, very, very good thing. So, and then through 2025, it's just going to become more and more rapid. So we'll see the two play out, facing off. The outer world, external world, the inner world will be facing off more and more. But you know, the light, love has already won this on every other level. Not that it's a battle, but the light has already reclaimed
Yeah.
the reality, and this is just the physical representations, always the final manifestation.
It's just a bit slower, isn't it, to kind of catch up? I think many of us can feel that shift already, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you could call us the cleanup crew, Sarah. We're here cleaning up this physical reality.
Well, I feel there will be a big cleanup, you know, of Mother Earth as well, because you know, that's all going to be part of the journey, isn't it? That kind of, you know, because we have lived, unfortunately, in this sort of toxic, you know, kind of abusive way, really. So that's all going to change as well, you know, when we're in a different relationship with Mother Earth. So
Yes, we are children of nature. We are actually part of nature. You know, we are even our divine souls are part of nature. So when we leave this body and the body comes back to the earth as dust, our beautiful soul self actually leaves and fans out into all the elements of nature. So it doesn't go anywhere else. It doesn't leave this reality. It never has done. It's just part of the stories we've always been told. Heaven is actually right here in this beautiful reality with us. Our loved ones have always been here. And we fan out and we expand out into all the elements of nature until the next time we decide we want to come into a physical form and experience ourselves in a different way. So, you know, the body, the beautiful soul energy, it's all part of this reality right here. There is so much more to this reality, to this dimension, this multi-layered world. There is so much more to it. And we've been led to believe that we're only one frequency. And yes, in the past with the old world we were, but now everything's coming into one. So all frequencies are coming into one frequency. All dimensions are coming into one dimension. And that means that all these beautiful civilizations that we believe are on planets out there actually coexist with us right here in this reality. And as we heighten in our vibration, as our frequency changes, we see more and more right here with us, around us, right here. It's really beautiful. Layers upon layers of realities within the one frequency. It's all just coming, consulting into one point of oneness.
it's a beautiful journey.
It's a beautiful journey. It's a beautiful journey. Probably the most beautiful journey. Actually, if we've got time, I may, if I may, excuse me, take us on just a 5-minute inward journey.
That would be wonderful. Would you like to do that now, Janine?
Yes.
Okay.
Excuse me. Yes. Okay. So just bringing yourself present, feeling your body, coming into your beautiful, beautiful body in this now moment, feeling your breath, becoming aware of your breathing entering and exiting your body. Feeling the movement in the body as the breath comes in. Understanding in this moment that your breathing is your connection to life here, the inward and the outward breath. Now noticing that your breathing is moving through a beautiful sacred space within you. Feel it now come into that space. It's a deep space within you. A very sacred place. And you notice through your breath as it enters that space, it fills the space and that space becomes wider. Each breath deepens, expands inwardly. And you can see a glow now. There's a beautiful soft glow in that place. A gentle warmth. A soft light. And you can feel it rising. So it too now fills this beautiful spaciousness, this expanding spaciousness within you, filled now with this warm, soft glow, filled now with your beautiful deepening breath. So beautiful, such a beautiful, beautiful space to be in. Warm, safe, secure, so deeply loving, so fully embracing. You can feel yourself smiling inwardly. As you find yourself in this stillness, deep, spacious stillness within you. It fills you. It moves through you, a beautiful gold frequency, purity stream. It is full of life. It is full of joy. This is the creative flow of you as a creator being. It dances through you always, like golden threads, moving, touching, being. And it moves out from your beautiful sacred heart, around you, dancing around you. And into the field of life it goes, streams upon streams of beautiful golden ribbon threads, outward, seeking beautiful hearts everywhere, in deep connection, in deep truth, sensing, seeking, playing, creating. See these beautiful threads now pouring out of your sacred center, reaching all other beautiful golden threads of light from other hearts, and creating the most incredibly beautiful golden iridescent white sparkling web right round the earth. This is the new earth grid, the purity of light and love that is creating our new world. And this is coming from the heart of you, as the magnificent creator being that you are. This is your part in this time now. Beautiful, beloved being. This is you going in, coming home to yourself as pure love. Now, when you are ready, bringing your threads back into your beautiful heart space, feeling your breath again, rising up with your breath, feeling the room that you are in, feeling your body, and when you are ready, returning, opening your eyes, knowing now the part you play, the integral part you play as the creator, the birther, the bringer of the new world, the newest version of you.
Thank you so much, Janine. That was really powerful, really beautiful.
I had no idea actually where that was going to go. I just opened into trust and allowed it. Thank you.
It's
Thank
really
you for the
powerful.
opportunity.
Is there anything that you'd like to share? Any last thoughts?
Yes, actually, in you actually asking that question, any last thoughts, I would like to finish off with, let go your thoughts. Realize that any time you are in your thoughts, you are in the old world paradigm, you are in your small thinking mind. Start now more and more every day to come down into your body. Be in your body, feeling your body and allowing yourself to become the feeling being that is your truth. We are not thinking beings. That is foreign to us. That is an injected part of the program. We will let the thinking mind go completely. In fact, it's dissolving right now, bit by bit. And each time another part dissolves, our beautiful, deep feelings emerge more. So every day, make a point in that day of remembering yourself, ourselves as feeling beings, and be guided in the now moment by the feelings rather than the thinking mind. Always stop in the moment of choice and ask, what choice would love make right now? And then have the courage to act on that. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so
Thank
much. Thank you so much. That's really beautiful, really powerful. And I know it's going to really resonate with the listeners, particularly at this time when we're going through so much, just really validating everything that we're feeling and allowing ourselves to drop into that.
Absolutely. It's been such a lovely time sharing this with you today, and I'm honoured to be here and be able to speak with yourself and with the listeners.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been absolutely delightful. It's been a real joy to have you on, and I'll look forward to more connections, Janine.
Lovely. Me too, Sarah. Me too.
Thanks
Thank you.
so much, everyone, for listening, and do hit the subscribe for more New Earth podcasts. Many blessings.